Hello and welcome to another Google Hangout where we're going to be discussing some thoughts on Manchester United and their recent run of form and our chances of finishing in the top four and some questions about the management at Manchester United. Now, obviously, we haven't been playing that well. We have got some results, but the performances still have pretty much stagnated and still pretty bad. And Louis van Gaal has come under a lot of criticism for a lot of this. A lot of fans on Twitter and YouTube are obviously calling for Louis van Gaal out now because of the performances haven't improved and the fact that he spent a lot of money. Now, personally, I think that fans are overreacting here, and we're still in the top four, and we can still have a decent season with the FA Cup still to play. And I've got me three guests, Matt, Kevin, and Joey, to discuss our thoughts on this. And some of the fans aren't happy. Some of them are talking about the formations, and we've used a lot of formations. We don't really know our settled formation. Joey, do you think this is a problem for us this season, that we're just not really getting a settled team out there, a formation, and this is sort of a problem from which Louis van Gaal can, if he could get things settled, things might start to improve for him?
Well, I think he's picked, he's gone with a few different formations, but a lot of that has been injuries. He's been forced to play, certain players out of position because of injury. He played, we started off with the 3-5-2, which we don't really have the greatest center backs in the world, so I didn't really understand that one. But I think a lot of the injuries is what hurt us the first 4 months, and now that we have seen the injuries seem to go away, he's going with a back four and the diamond in midfield. And I think the formation, I just don't think that formation gets the best out of our players personally. Also, individual players in formations haven't pulled their weight. Falcao has 4 goals. Robin van Persie's gotten 10 somehow, and he's looked terrible all year. To be honest, he hasn't played a great game yet. The game against Southampton was his best game of the year, and we were just poor in that game. So I think we haven't been able to get a bunch of some consistency. We've seen it in the last few games. The last few weeks where he's played the diamond, and they've gotten some consistency, but the performances still aren't there. And me personally, I think it comes down to the injuries, yes. The formation, I don't like the diamond. I think he's trying to fit too many players in, and he should just go with he hasn't found the balance, and that's a little bit worrying. But I just think we just are missing certain players. I don't think we have that great of a squad, regardless that we spent $150 million. 14 players left, I think it is. It's not going to happen instantly. You look at teams that get built over the years that win titles. No, they weren't all just bought in that last season or the season before that. So as for the formation, I don't think the 4-4-2 diamond gets the best out of our current squad. I think I would rather see a different formation, a 4-3-3 or a flat 4-4-2. But the thing I'm not worried about is that he saw that the 3-5-2 wasn't working, and he switched that. He's given the diamond a chance, and if it doesn't work and we're not getting results, he'll switch it. With Moyes, we wanted him to switch from 4-4-2. We wanted something different. And he consistently played the same crap over and over and over, and he wasn't a very, reactive manager. So I don't know. I think the injuries are the reason we haven't seen a formation work for us.
Yeah, I still think we're going to get there in the end. I think it's just going to take a while, another summer transfer window, and we will get. I think it's crazy to think that Louis van Gaal should be sort of being sacked at this stage. Yeah, we're still in 4th position. The player has been a bit cautious, especially away from home. Do you think that Louis van Gaal's been a bit negative, maybe away from home, Kevin? That's got to come down to the manager, surely, hasn't it? That we've been so cautious away from home. I don't know if it's because he's looking just to pick up results away from home rather than go for the wins all the time and lose games, because we are only going for the top 4 and don't actually need to win every single match in order to get in the top 4.
Yeah, I have to agree with what you're saying. He's being a very cautious away from home, very negative. I don't really know why. If you're going to somewhere like Stamford Bridge or the Emirates, or you're playing a team that's in and around your position, yeah, fair enough. You want to leave there with a draw minimum. But he's going away to places like Upton Park and the King Power Stadium against Leicester, and these places where even Swansea on the weekend, where our football was absolute shit. I don't know what it is. It's just he's trying to play this conservative football. He's trying to grind out results. I think really this season he's just thinking, look, boys, let's just get into the top four. Just play football that will win us matches and get points on the board. And next season, I think he's looking at really putting in the philosophy that we've been hearing so much about that hasn't been implemented or shown on the pitch at all. But I don't think it's an excuse at all for the poor results you've been getting away from him. Our away from is absolutely shocking, and there's no excuse for it. Even in the FA Cup games at Preston, at Cambridge, we've looked the second best team until we've conceded or until late in the second half. So I don't really know what he's playing at with that. I think the players as well. I think there's a lot of there's an attitude problem in the players in the camp for me. I think they think they're much better than they are. A lot of them, especially. I don't know what's happening with Falcao. You don't just turn absolute dog shit after a year. Van Persie hasn't been able to get into it. I think it's a lot of an ego thing between those two as well. Perhaps both of them playing up front, both of them trying to be the main man, and neither of them are the main men. So I think it's a mix of a lot of things, and we're just not looking very good at all. We're not attacking enough. We're not playing good football. I don't know what Van Gaal's thinking when he's putting out these tactics.
Yeah, definitely. We're not been playing well at all. I don't know if you want to touch on it, Matt, about the performances, because if the performances carry on like this, there is a chance we might not get top four. I mean, with the away form as bad as it is. So surely, I suppose Louis van Gaal's got to take some of the blame for this, especially the away form. So we've only picked up, I think, 3 away wins all season, and none of them performances we actually played well in, and could have lost at least probably 2 of them. So surely some of it has to come from the manager. I'm not condoning that he should be sacked, but I think that he could do better with what he's got.
I think it's one of them things where, on one hand, you can say that in some respects the manager does have certain responsibility on the way that the team's performing, but then equally the players have as much responsibility as well. They're not all new players. A lot of them have been there when we have won things and played well, and they should know how to work hard and get results. There's been obviously the shake-up of a new manager coming in, so again, like when we had a new manager last season, there's always going to be differences for players to get used to. New players have come in, they've got to learn the league, they've got to learn the manager, they've got to learn the team. There's a lot of different things. So there was always going to be a bedding in process, I think, at the start of the season. There was always going to be a shaky sort of period. I think the injuries, like Joey said, they have largely affected what sort of system we've tried to play. And I think as well, Van Gaal, in the first sort of few weeks that he had on pre-season to sort of establish who he rated, who he wanted to keep, who he wanted to get rid of, that was never going to be able to be done so quickly. And so I think he's still discovering, even to this day, about players that he probably doesn't want to keep. And I think because he's got sort of little confidence in some players, that maybe that has affected his formation selections. Maybe that has affected, what players he's been picking. And I think that's maybe why we've been a bit more conservative away from home, because he just doesn't necessarily have the squad available, or the certain players that he wants. So I think there's too much to sort of start judging him right now. I think he's had to learn an awful lot. He's had to learn the league as well. And so I think it'll be interesting to see what sort of moves he makes in the summer transfer window, and I think you'll see more of an LVG team when the season starts again in August.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should give him at least another summer transfer window to get the rest of the players in that he wants. Some fans aren't happy though, Joey, because we've spent over 150 million, and they're expecting the football to be a lot better. I'm not saying we're going to play wonderful football like the great Barcelona teams and that with this amount of money, but some fans feel that we should be playing a lot better away from home with the fact we spent this money. But I mean, as Matt was talking before, one of these players, Di Maria, cost around £60 million, so that takes away a big chunk of that money. So I mean, I don't really know what your thoughts are there on the amount of money spent, because people are comparing it with obviously Moyes, but we've only actually got a few players in. We didn't get that many players to come in, did we, for the actual money that we spent?
Well, I mean, look, we spent 150 million, but we haven't, over the last 5 years, how much have we actually spent on players, and how many are still, with the club today? We let 14 players go. That's not, that's a huge a huge outgoing number. You can't expect in one season, all these new signings to just come into a whole new league. Only Luke Shaw has Premier League experience. You got Rojo who doesn't speak English. Di Maria doesn't speak English. Di Maria's coming from Spain, and same thing with Rojo's coming from Portugal. They can't even communicate with each other yet. Never mind coming to a whole new league, which everybody wants to rave about is the best league in the world, and it's so hard to play, and it's physical and it's fast. And then people expect you just to they expect players like Herrera, who weighs about 120 pounds, which isn't, I don't know how much that is in your guys' weight, but it's not a lot. It's soaking wet. He's not the type of central midfielder that is going to get in there and get stuck in, and that'll lead later. I hope somebody brings it up when they talk about Rooney playing in midfield, because we just don't have the squad. I said we don't have it because we brought in players and they've worked out. Blind has worked out. Rojo looks our best center back. People were Herrera has 5 or 6 goals now. Di Maria is the only real flop. People want to say Luke Shaw because we spent $30 million, but if he's our left back for the next 10 years, it's $3 million a year. It's nothing. The kid's got potential to be the best left back in the world, and he had more Premier League experience than most left backs right now. So yeah, we brought in these great players, but we still need more. We were talking. You look at true central midfielders. We have Carrick, Blind, and Herrera. That's it. And I'm not talking about number 10s either. I'm talking about central midfielders. We just don't have big enough a squad. And then thrown to the fact that this is all their first year, it's not. I mean, that argument I'm so sick of hearing. He spent 150 million, as if you can just throw money at every single little problem and that's going to fix it. It takes time. Sir Alex Ferguson said it. It takes time to adjust to a new league, a new culture, because it's not just on the pitch; it's off the pitch. These players have to get used to different communities and new food and a whole new routine when they wake up in the morning. Their drive to work. It's different. It takes time. You cannot expect us to just buy so many players in the summer like we did and then put them together and, voila, we got a squad capable of winning the league. Because while I don't think our starting 11 is the finished product, we still need depth. We don't have depth in quality. We don't have world-class players in every position and then good, solid players to back them up. It takes time. It was never going to be one window. It's not even going to be 2 windows. It's going to take 3 to 4 summer windows to build a Champions League winning squad. Never mind winning the league. I don't think it would take us long to win the league because I don't think we're that far off. I really don't. I think we're a center back, a midfielder, and a winger, and maybe a striker who can score some goals, whether that's putting Rooney up top or promoting Wilson away from winning the league. There's some results that didn't go our way this year, but we've been in every single game. We haven't gotten blown out, bar the MK Dons game, and more than half those players are gone. We've been in every single game. We could have won every single game with shit performances. So, I mean, it's going to take another 150 million this summer because we need quality players. So, and the thing is, our club has generated that money. It's not like we got a sugar daddy from fucking the Middle East who just threw oil money at it, and we spent, look at City, and they spent 300-some million over 4 transfer windows, and most of their players aren't even there. You know what I mean? I took a list. They spent 12 million pounds on Nastasius, 20 million on Rodwell. Neither player's there. Jovetic, 22 million, not even in their Champions League spot. Negredo, 16 million. Sold him in the summer. It takes time, and I don't want to see us start a project with Louis Van Gaal and then not let him see it through. It's utter madness. It's so stupid. Yeah, let's sack a manager every single year when they don't give us what we want. You know, we were talking. Some fans are so spoiled with success. That's all they know. You know, it's annoying. If that's the type of, if you want to say, you know, sack a manager every year, go out and support Chelsea. Go support Real Madrid, where they're, you know, Chelsea will probably win the league this year most likely. Real Madrid, they're probably going to win their league and maybe the Champions League. If you want success, go do that. I'm good. I'll sit here and I'll stick by the manager and I'll support them.
Yeah, definitely. I still think there are areas where he needs to improve the squad, which moves on to talking about Wayne Rooney. He's obviously been played in midfield. I still don't think he's got all the players that he wants in every position. I think obviously there were areas where he needed dressing. Like obviously there's still another good quality midfielder probably needed to come in. Right back's needed. There's going to probably need to be at least another winger, probably another striker. So obviously I don't know what your thoughts are, Kevin. I mean, Rooney's had to obviously play in midfield, so this is a bit of a problem. But maybe we'll see some better performances next season when we've got some more depth in the squad and players can all play in their right positions, and he's got the players in the positions he wants. I mean, because Valencia's not really a right back either, is he? I mean, they're not playing. Everyone's not playing where they should be, and certain players for them positions.
I mean, yeah, like Joey was saying, this team lacks, and it's been shown thoroughly with the injuries. We haven't got any depth in our squad, let alone strength in depth. You look at teams like Chelsea, they've got a world-class team on the pitch, and they've got a world-class team on the bench, and they've got a very good squad out on loan as well. You look at City, you've got, hate to say it, they've got a world-class team on the pitch, and again, a very, very strong bench. And we barely have a team that's gelling together on the pitch, and we're not going to go anywhere until we find that the word balance is being thrown around. But yeah, we need that balance, and we need to start playing players in their positions. We're not going to go anywhere with playing midfielders in defence or defenders up front or Fellaini's as our playmakers when we've got somebody like Juan Mata on the bench. I don't really understand what's going on. It's going to take a long time. And these fans that are calling for Van Gaal to go, they need to go back to their PS4s and Xbox Ones and play on their career mode, because this isn't career mode, this is real life. These things take much longer than they do in games. You know, it's not about the ability of the manager. He's not going to go out there and score 55 goals, is he? These things, we need to gel. We need to learn the philosophy. We need to learn the football. We're leaving Sir Alex Ferguson era. This is still post-Fergie, and then we had that shitness from last year, and we're still getting over that too. So it's going to take time, and you know, the success, we're not going to win the league or the Champions League every single year. We just need to be patient, because we weren't patient last year, and fairly or unfairly, David Moyes got the sack in April, whenever the hell it was we got rid of him. And I don't see us sacking Van Gaal, even if we don't get top four. I really want to see Van Gaal stay with the team. I want to see him build this project. I want to see him build this team, and I want to see what he can do, because this United team is in need of a revamp, and we're in the process of that revamp. Some players still need to go. The Joneses, the Smallings, the Evans, the supposed players that were supposed to be stars. We need to get them out of there, and we need to bring in some new, fresh talent, and then even when we bring in that new talent, they're going to have to bond in the team. They're going to have to gel into the team. And we could be talking about the same predicament next season as well. It's all going to take time. We must be patient. All this crying about Van Gaal out, I don't want to hear none of that at all. But again, for me, it's no excuse for these bad performances, losing games that, like Joey said, we're in the game for 90 minutes, but something just isn't allowing us to get over that line and to get those 3 points. And if we're not careful, we still got to play City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs as well. We still got to play all those teams yet to come. And we're dropping these little stupid points at drawing at Upton Park, losing at Swansea. And teams like, Arsenal have suddenly hit this a crazy run of form, although they do have these purple patches in seasons and they tend to drop off. But I don't see them doing that now. We've suddenly turned into a team where we have more possession. We've had more possession this season than a team like Arsenal, but we're doing nothing with the ball. We're not scoring enough goals. And I don't know what it is, but let me get back on track. These fans, it's only a small minority of the supposed United fans. I'm sure they don't even know anything about football themselves, apart from that United have got the most leagues, so they're supporting us, the glory hunters. The true fans like ourselves on here, we know it's going to take time. We're behind the manager. We know we're patient, And these guys need to go away. It's also media hype as well. You know, I saw a back page, I think it was the Sun, saying, quoting Van Gaal, saying that we were the best team in the league, and they put underneath, we're not even the best team in South Wales. It's just trying to stir up some shit, and we just need to ignore it, stay behind the manager, and, you know, we'll be back on top in no time. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I think we've been spoiled over the years with the amount of success we've had. I mean, any other club would have killed for this amount of league titles we've won over the years. I don't suppose there's many teams in Europe that have won the amount of league titles over a period of time as we have. So, but moving along, I mean, Louis van Gaal does like to give youth a chance, as he's done with other clubs. I know at Barcelona and that he's given a lot of youth. So moving forward, the future surely does look bright, doesn't it, Matt? Because we've got a lot of good young players there. Luke Shaw, James Wilson, Paddy McNair's been given quite a lot of game time this year. There's still other players there. Jan Nazai's not very old. And
Carrera.
Yeah, none of them still young players. So he's given a lot of good youngsters a chance this season, which must bode well for the future.
Yeah, well, I think he's always looked to develop players. I mean, you go back all the way back to the start of his managerial career, and he brings through someone like Patrick Kluivert, and he turned out to be one of the best strikers to come from the Netherlands. And I think people, just to carry on from what had been said, people are jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, sack a manager because things aren't working. You point out how many times as a manager who's just walked into a job and instantly there's been success. There are very, very few. You know, you think of the likes of Mourinho when he walked into Chelsea, or you think of Guardiola when he walked into Bayern Munich last season and they, you know, win the title straight away. Very, very rarely is there a factor when a manager comes in and there's instant success. The issue from what we had last season, that was always going to have an effect on when Van Gaal's come in. So he is going to need the time to develop his team, to build his team, to get in the players he wants. He's giving youth a chance, which is good, which is what Manchester United has always been about. Give the youth a chance. If they're young enough, they're old enough. Or if they're good enough, they're old enough, I should say. And the fact that he's giving players like Wilson games, he's giving Jan Nazai games, he's letting McNair come into the team. You know, journalists at the start of the season were saying, "Oh, that's it for Man United. The old Man United is dead now because they're not going to promote youth players." Rubbish. If in fact, I wouldn't mind betting he's played more youth players this season than what David Moyes did last. The money thing is stupid, like Joey was saying. There's a lot written in the press just to try catch him out, to try trip him up, because that is always what it is about Man United. There's always people out there trying and make rubbish stories out there because they know people will read it. Van Gaal is taking us in the right direction. We're moving forward from a terrible season last season for whatever reason, and we are making progress. Yes, there might be some issues with the way that the team's playing. Yes, there might be some issues with formations or whatever you want to pick up on. We are moving in the right direction. The guy has got a proven track record of winning trophies at big clubs, and I think he needs, and what we need to do, whatever the manager is, whoever the manager is, we need to give them a chance to build the squad that they want to then actually go off and do something with it. It's pointless to get a manager in to supposedly start a project and then not giving them a chance to actually do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was stupid really to give David Moyes what was it, a 6-year contract, was it, or something, and then sack him after a few months, because then you've got to pay the contract up. If you're going to give the guy a long contract, you should at least see out a year or a couple of years of the job. So moving along, I don't know what you think, Joey, on our chances now finishing in the top 4. We've obviously have slipped away a bit. We've let the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal back in it when we shouldn't have. Obviously Southampton aren't playing the best, and Tottenham are hit and miss. So it's probably Liverpool's the real threat, and they've got a lot of hard games like us. So we should still be fairly confident that we can finish in the top 4, shouldn't we, with this team?
Yeah, I mean, look, I said that we didn't have a great squad, but I think we have a squad good enough to finish in the top 4. There's no reason we shouldn't. it's just unfortunate that Robin van Persie and Falcao haven't been hitting in the goals because we've dominated these performances. We've dominated possession, and while we've made the most defensive errors, we have a world-class keeper behind us to save our ass time and time again. If we had one striker on form for the last month, we wouldn't be in the predicament we were in right now. There haven't been a lot of chances, but there's been enough chances where our strikers should have been scoring goals. Look, I went from around Christmas time. I thought 100%. Look at us, 7 games in a row we won before the draw to Villa. Like no matter what, we're getting top 4. Now we're a little bit, but you have to look at it like this: Liverpool are still in the Europa League, and they rested players against Southampton. It looks like they're really going for Europa League because Brendan Rodgers thinks that's his best chance to get in the top 4 because he knows Southampton, us, Tottenham, it's going to be tough. I feel confident we'll get in there. We were talking earlier before the thing. Van Gaal, big game manager. Chris Smalling got a red card. That's why we could have beat City or drew with them. The Southampton game at home, those are the only 2 big games, where we've lost. We drew with Chelsea at home when it didn't, look like we were going to get anything. We beat Arsenal away. We beat Liverpool at home. We beat Everton at home. These are games that we lost, the Liverpool and the Everton game. So I'm not too worried about it. While we do have a tough schedule, I think that the players will realize that it's time. It's going to be desperation. These games are going to be games that we're probably not going to enjoy watching because it's going to be tight. Every little thing's going to be like, it's going to be twitchy ass time, like Van Gaal says. But I think we can do it. And I just hope that, if we get top 4, which I think we will, I think everybody will breathe a huge sigh of relief and they'll start fresh. And then we can get some more players in. We can get some more time on the training pitch. And I think we'll be all right. I think that, like Matt said, a lot of this is media-driven because it sells papers. People love, for some reason, to read about the negative. I don't know why. It's just everything in life, in human nature, people love to watch the negative. Me, I enjoy looking at the positives. Van Gaal's a guy who has experience. He's been here before. He knows how to build a winning team. You have to give the guy time. You know why we didn't give David Moyes time? Because he was garbage. Liverpool at home, 3-0. City at home, 3-0. Then there was the Everton game, and he's just sitting there like an idiot. We weren't even in those games. We didn't even score a goal. So I don't understand this whole, well, David Moyes had that money, and David Moyes didn't get time, because David Moyes was crap. He was a crap manager. He couldn't motivate the players. He had all the credentials, yes, but he didn't have a philosophy, and I don't care if you laugh at that word or not. He didn't have a way he wanted to play. We were talking, people will say, oh, we want to play the Manchester United way, 4-4-2 with wingers crossing the ball in. But last year, everybody talked shit on doing that. They wanted some new style of play, which was tiki-taka. I remember hearing people, well, we got Juan Mata. Why don't we play these short, nice passes? Why are we just crossing the ball in and keep crossing the ball in? And now that's what people want. So make up your mind. Do you want this style or that style? I just want to win games. And if that's what, that's dominating possession and doing it that way, then so be it. But the thought that David Moyes should have been given time it's stupid, And then the people that say, well, Van Gaal shouldn't be given time if David Moyes wasn't given time, and Van Gaal had all this money to spend, and ifs and buts and all this crap. There's a reason we're in the situation we're in now. It's because we didn't spend money, and we had too many average players. And I don't want to see us sack another manager and then bring another one in who has a whole new idea of what the team should look like. You need to stick by Louis Van Gaal and support the team no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to stick by until the end of the season, and hopefully we will have a successful season. I don't know if you got any more thoughts.
Even if we don't get top 4, we still need to stick with him, and you need to stick by this man. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think we should sack him if we don't get top 4. I absolutely do not think that, because who are you going to bring in? Guardiola ain't leaving Bayern. He's got a cupcake league, and he's got the Champions League every year, and he's got world-class players. Jose Mourinho ain't leaving Chelsea. He's about to win the league. Other than those 2 managers, who would you really want to bring in? Ancelotti? Ancelotti's got, what do you win, 20 games in a row with Real Madrid? Think he's going to go with playing Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale to Ashley Young and Antonio Valencia? You got a world-class manager in there. You need to stick by him, because there's no other world-class managers that are going to come here and do a better job, and I guarantee that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kevin, he's a proven winner, isn't he? In the past, he's won quite a lot of trophies, so we should be still confident of finishing in the top 4. And well, really, we should be looking to progress in the FA Cup and maybe even win the FA Cup. So it would be quite a successful season then, wouldn't it, if that's the case?
I mean, yeah, all things being considered, yeah, an FA Cup win, we haven't won that since 04, 03. You know, that'll be fantastic, and beating Arsenal on our way there would be brilliant too. The top four, I'm not really worried about that. I think the only problem I think we'll have this season is ourselves. Last season we had no direction. 1 minute we're playing long balls, 1 minute we're playing possession football. It was really, there was no hope. And this year Van Gaal's he gave the majority of the fans hope, because now all of a sudden we're not winning every single game of the season, and you know, you got these little corner of fans who are just plain deluded, calling for his name and calling for him to be sacked. But it's given us hope. You know the style of football that he wants to play. You know what he's trying to implement on the players, and for whatever reason, it's not be replicated on the pitch. But it's a trial and error thing. He's still trying to get to know the club. He's still trying to get to know the players. He's still trying to get to know his team. We can't forget, this is, as good as he is, he's a new manager taking over a new club, a club that's in transition, and I believe in him. Definitely 100%. I believe in the players as well. We should get top four, as long as we don't start getting complacent, as long as players, you know, focus at the back, because as I've been saying, it's not just the defenders, but the team doesn't know how to defend as a unit, as a team. You see it in set pieces, you see it in the way we conduct ourselves on counter-attacks and when we're defending against teams. The team doesn't know how to defend, and I think it's come to a point where it's just score more goals than the opposition and you're going to win the game, and that's the type of football that we seem to be going with, we were going with in the past. I just hope that we stay focused, because we always seem to turn up in big games. So maybe it's a good thing that we've still got a lot of big games to come. So we normally get all hyped up for that. You look at the City game, the Chelsea game, the Arsenal game, the Liverpool game. We only lost one of those and won two of those four, and you've still got to play them again. So we should be picking up points there. It's just I don't know what it is. I'm feeling good about this season, but I just hope for performances to go up, because I don't want it to be a simple, just win and we'll be fine. I want to be able to look at my team, watch my team and be like, yeah, that's my team out there. We're playing good football. We're dominating matches. We're dominating opposition. So it's a bit easier on next season, because that's putting a hell of a lot of pressure on next season as well. We can play shit and get top four. And then what? Next season we're going to have to be in another transition to start playing nice football again, while we're in the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Cup to One Cup, and going for the league as well. But yeah, Team Van Gaal, Team United, and we'll get top four, no worries.
Yeah, I definitely think we will get top four. I don't know if you've got anything else to add on that before we finish it up, Matt. I mean, we've obviously got Sunderland next, so if we beat them, we could get back on track. I mean, we should still be in confident mood, shouldn't we? I mean, Liverpool are obviously the main rivals for the fourth spot, but they've got some difficult games as well. And with a lot of games, we should still be confident of hitting our target, shouldn't we? Really, which is the main aim.
Yeah, we just need to reach and get the top four. Our performances are the biggest issue. You know, you look at everything else, and everything else is okay. The performances are the biggest problem. I think if you made changes to the performances and they were improved, you'd see the improvement in the odd result here or there that we've been slipping up. You know, you look at the performance against Swansea, if we'd have played better, we wouldn't have lost. You look at the West Ham game, if we'd have played better, we wouldn't have drawn. There's all those other games at the start of the season where you can say that as well. The performances are the biggest issue this season. We need to work on that, whatever the problem is, whether it's players, formations, whatever. The performances need to be worked on. We aren't going to solve that by sacking Van Gaal, regardless of whether we finish in the top four or not. If anything, if you sack him, it's only going to take us longer to get back where people want us to be anyway, because then that new person's got to come in and do it all over again. You see, when teams have done it in the past, Chelsea, for example, on their search for the Champions League, it took them an awful lot longer than what it would have done had they have just kept Mourinho. They sacked Mourinho and they kept on changing managers, and eventually won the Champions League. They'd have done it in half the time if Mourinho had stayed as manager. And I think, in a similar vein, if we keep on changing managers, it will take us an awful lot longer to get back to where we should be, because each manager will want a different squad. Each manager will like players, not like players. And so you've just got to leave Van Gaal to do his job, and if he, in the 3 years that he's going to be our manager, even if he just gets us into the direction where we look like we're going to be challenging again, then that's going to be an improvement than what it looked like at the end of last season. So I think if anybody's starting to tweeting LVG out or any of that bollocks, you can just go and support someone else, because the whole idea of being a fan is that you support the team. You're meant to support them no matter what. You're meant to sort of stick by them when things are going badly. Just because things aren't going your way and we're not walking away with the league or we're not walking away with games doesn't mean that suddenly the manager's got to be sacked, the players are shit, this, that and the other. You've got to support them and just get on with it. It's not always going to be a smooth ride. Hell, you look back in history when we've lost someone like Matt Busby. It took us years to find a certain replacement who would then take us back to that height again. We got relegated in the process. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be that extreme for us now, but some people just need to get a sense of realism and just think, actually, it's not all doom and gloom. We are still in the top 4. We are pushing for the top 4 places. We are in transition, like Kevin said. And I think overall it's all going to be fine, and people just need to calm down and not jump on the bandwagon of LVG out.
Yeah, definitely. I think we will get there in time. It's just going to take a bit of time. The performances probably will improve. I mean, he started to get well. I mean, all the players have stayed healthy now for a while. So I think now that we're seeing a settled team, surely soon some of the performances are going to improve. I mean, some of the players obviously got to take responsibility themselves as well. But anyway, I think that's all we've got to talk about from this tonight. Thanks to everyone for watching, and we'll probably be back again later on in the week for a preview of the upcoming game against Sunderland, which we should be looking to win to get back on track. And with Liverpool playing against Manchester City, it should be interesting. Hopefully we can get another gap back, and then all these Louis van Gaal people will probably disappear. So thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts on the Louis van Gaal situation, where you stand and everything, and we'll talk to you in the comment section below.